Those pink flowers are nice. As I said, it's lovely down here in the summer, on the summer days, when it's hot. You can go fishing. I think it's a bit, I don't know, a little bit too late in the year now. I don't know, it's not that hot. Maybe it's just the weather. It's like, what is it, 2nd of August? I don't know. Sometimes it gets really hot in August and September. But yeah, you come here in sort of early July to mid-July. It's about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It can be quite hot. As I said last time, that's another good fishing spot in between those trees there. Just cleaning my bike a little bit as I take a rest here. Just cleaning off the derailleur. Haven't really had much sun recently. It's just been it's been raining a lot for the past 2-3 weeks. It's been a bit of a washout July really. June wasn't bad. We had one heat wave in June and some hot days. But I haven't had to get my fan out for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And this is usually the hottest time of year, sort of July, early August. There's clouds. Pretty clouds, that one's pretty as well. I get a bit dazed and disorientated when I ride at the moment, and I don't really, my brain doesn't take things in. Now that I've sat down, I've calmed down, I'm sort of able to become more with it, alert, you know. That's kind of something I used to experience a lot actually with the severe chronic fatigue syndrome. I mean, I don't really know what's wrong with me at the moment, like this year. Obviously the chronic fatigue syndrome is part of it, but it's not the same as it used to be. It's not the same thing that it used to be. Something weird kind of going on with me at the moment. I don't really know what it is. I've looked into quite a few different things now, and some of them seemed like they were the answer, but through sort of trial and error, trying to rule things out, you know. It's like process of elimination, like Sherlock Holmes says. Waiting for this results of this. I did like a stomach bacteria test. That's the next step for me, is like doing lab analysis of the health of my stomach basically, and that's a more expensive and difficult procedure than some of the other things I've tried. You know, if you think you've got like a problem with candida, the fungus that grows in your stomach, it's fairly easy to kind of test for that, because you got tests for it, but you can also just take certain herbs, stop eating sugar completely, reduce your carbs, and that's what I did, and it did improve things a little bit, but yeah, I love this bike. It's so useful. It's a good bike. Classic design. I think since I've widened these handlebars, because this was like there or something, I've put the maximum size on now because it's less physical force for me to balance the bike. It's easier for someone who's not well. But since I've done that, my arms are a wider angle, so I'm having to like lean. I'm putting my weight more on the bars, so I want to be more upright. So I've got to somehow, if I could somehow get that butt up a bit. I know you can sort of just rotate the bars, and that can help a bit, but I'd rather not do that. Usually what you do is like you change this stem, that's called a stem, this part. You change that for one that has a higher angle, but because that's such a short stem, you see, it may be difficult to find one that's got a higher angle than that. I really haven't had much opportunity to do much bike mechanics in it and things like that this year because I've just not been well, I have to absolutely minimize the energy that I use. Like even just like shaving and things can be difficult sometimes. I often don't finish my shaving in one go. I'll do like half and then stop. I haven't had a bath for since March or April. I have to wash myself outside, and I can't really do it. It looks like it's gonna rain, doesn't it? I was just saying, I have to wash outside, and I can't really do it when it's raining. I was saying even though I live like this, I mean I can't imagine what it's like to be homeless, and for many years there's been lots of homeless people in the UK, and we don't really help them much, but we're happy to help all of these foreigners now, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Look at that rain cloud. They say there's a chance of thunderstorms today. I'll have to take cover under that tree, I guess, if it does happen. There's not much cover around here. Not too far from home, but I don't really want to get soaked because I don't have many spare clothes. And it's going to be hard to dry it tonight. For that. It's quite pretty, isn't it? Like the contrast, the different shades of the clouds. What I was saying was, I don't know exactly what's wrong with me at the moment, but part of my problem is, the chronic fatigue syndrome. And I can't imagine that I'd have my current issues if I didn't have chronic fatigue syndrome underlying it. And the doctors have really let us down. There's so many people that have this disease, and the doctors just can't really do anything to help us. And the scientists are starting to get on it, but there really hasn't been much research for decades until the past 5-10 years maybe. It's a terrible situation for a lot of people, and the COVID thing really changed it. The long COVID disease changed the situation a lot, but it's still not good even for people with long COVID. It's very difficult for them, is the impression I get. And with the CFS, they try to put us into the psychological treatment box, and there's like a big sort of corruption scandal surrounding it, especially in the UK, where they basically tried to force people to do exercise to cure their problem, like as if it was like a laziness thing. So it's kind of playing into the ignorance of like the general public. Obviously, before I got chronic fatigue syndrome, which happened like kind of overnight, I was like cycling like hundreds of miles a week, you know, with before e-bikes existed. This was back in 2015, or maybe there were some e-bikes then, but not many, like very very rare. Um, but the longest I would cycle was like 60 miles usually. I couldn't go like 80 miles or something.